launched a test in theological formation with a number of our hopefully future pastors being raised up, and they weren't going to go through SMP. And I've had two pastors have gone through SMP, and this is no disrespect to what they do, but I think we can do better even. And
what would be your pushback against SMP if you want to articulate
it's expensive.
that? Okay,
it's $40,000, and you don't get a degree, and you're seen as in some circles as a second-rate pastor. You don't have general ordination status, and so those are three things. If we could replace SMP with some sort of an online M.Div program that is at a similar, if not almost synonymous level with what you and I took residential, which there are those programs that are out there, then I think we would elevate kind of and I don't like using status language, but the respect, I guess, of pastors who may be bivocational. And then we put up, because I don't want to hurt residential. I still think residential has like a huge point. You're always going to have, and Jack Kalberg, he's my co-host on one of the podcasts. I would be bereft if I didn't say his ROTC to West Point model. So the military would not have won World War II apart from ROTC, right?
Okay.
But we also needed the officers' school, the training school, which is West Point, right? And the seminaries are the West Point, right? It's in person, life on life with the professors in real time. You and I are blessed to be able to go through those programs. But it doesn't mean there can't be some more localized training programs with respective restrictions. This is where I'd love to have conversations with the Pastoral Formation Committee. Like, what are those restrictions? Time in an LCMS congregation, age and stage, season of life, right? But then when they get through, like, allow these leaders. There are so many leaders who God has blessed to make a lot of money. My brother would be one of them. Give you a case study. He's like in his late 30s. He's an amazing executive leader. He loves theology too. He's rooted in his Denver community, right? Could he be raised up to be a pastor into the future because he'd probably retire early. He could retire probably in his late 40s. Like, could there be a vision for a guy like that who retires early to serve in our churches for the next 20, 25 years? I would love to think that could be the case. Now, some may say, well, he should go to the same. Well, we'll have to make that decision, but he's embedded, right? He's embedded. And so do we have training right now for those who are embedded? And I really don't think all the models right now, SMP is the best. We can do better for the reasons I just said. And so we're running basically a test with the Luther House of Studies.
Okay, let's pause there, because I want to ask some questions there. Shoot. And then we can kind of go on, and I don't want to forget the questions. One, do you have any hesitancies, or maybe if first off, do you have hesitancies? And then second, what are some of the hesitancies that you've heard as far as like an online M.Div versus an in-person? You lose, like I said, the life on life, the incarnational experience that you and I had with, rubbing elbows, eating lunch and dinner, having a beer with whatever professors, that is a bummer. But our seminaries are not like booming right now. Seminary enrollment since I went has declined in half. So when I graduated, just a point in time reference, like my class was well over 100. Yeah. Okay. Ours was, I think, maybe 35. And I think we were about the same as St. Louis in the year we graduated, 35 to 40, something like that.
And so it kind of is. And I don't know that
what do you think's led to that? Like, let me ask you this way. Do you think alternative routes have caused people not to go to seminary?
No.
Okay. Because I would say that's probably one of my concerns. We talked about the other day how we had a roundtable convocation, a theological convocation here in the Minnesota South. And I was one of 4 people that were able to kind of discuss these things. And one of my concerns was, okay, so let's say Bennett, wants to go be a pastor, and he's here, and right now he's a single guy, so like he could move to St. Louis and go to SEM. But if there was an opportunity for him to just kind of maybe stay at home, take online, stay close to his friends and stuff like that, is there a chance that option then causes him not to go to seminary, and just to say, hey, this seems a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Just to use that as an
Yeah.
example, because of course someone with 4 kids who's running a real estate business
Right.
in your area,
Different.
that's kind of a different situation. But
Right.
maybe just as the first, is there a chance that alternative routes kind of move people away from making that jump to SEM?
I think it amplifies the brand of our seminaries. If under, maybe it's a partnership between both seminaries, a new thing we end up doing, or it's one of them runs a pilot project. If there's more openness to serve that man right there,
Mm-hmm.
the Bennetts are going to want to get like the on the ground thing. Like
Okay.
they're going to want that more. And then we as a church can talk about Synod Convention. What are the age and stage kind of restrictions? And then district presidents, this is a good role for district presidents. District presidents have to say, hey, because of X, Y, and Z, we think the online is his best option to stay in context. But for our young people that have freedom to go, I think it only elevates. If there's openness toward that,
Mm-hmm.
and this is one of the, I guess, frustrations for me. Like I would shout it from the rooftops
Mm-hmm.
if there was more openness toward meeting the bivocational, immersed, contextual leaders' theological formation needs. If there were that openness, I think we get way more people going to the seminary right now. Yeah, so I think it's more the demographic. Let me finish. I think it's more the demographic struggles of why the seminary, because the synod's declining.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes sense that we have less young men. If you just look at the numbers in our Concordia University pipeline, like my pre-sem program at Concordia, Nebraska, there was like 100 some guys going to both seminaries when I was going through. It's substantially less. I think the 30 number that you have right now, and Concordia, Nebraska is like one of the best at formation, right? For teachers, DCEs, et cetera. So yeah, I think there's a demographic shift that's taking place right now as a church declines. So what, and this is where the leadership thing comes in, what stems decline? Well, tests, Brian. We got to run different tests to see what works. Is everything going to work? And you need to have congregations like ours that are just trying to be faithful, but also recognizing the growing community that we're a part of. So I've been praying that the seminaries would run a test with us for a while. But even for those tests to be run, and this gets to the polity piece, it's like the whole synod has to speak in synod and convention. And where some of the frustration lies is some of our overtures toward respective tests around this topic have been either dismissed or they've been kind of conflated into a more general resolution that goes before the church body. And that gets into a little bit more of the political waters of making this happen. It's hard to get to a point of openness toward change when people think their job is at stake. And so, like, for me, I get that. Yeah. Like, if someone's coming at me and like, you're going to hurt my institution, like there will be a defensive mechanism that pops up. I'm hoping that we can build bridges of understanding where we're not seen as a threat. We're seen as a potential partner and a potential like vision casting for the next gen of leadership development, pastoral formation in the synod. That's honestly our heart's desire.